Received a phone call from a contractor who said that they have a crawl space that only has about 8-10 inches between the floor joists and exposed dirt. And there's a lot of mold on the floor joists and the floor decking. And, you know, how do you approach that kind of a project? There's only two ways to do it. One is you hire someone who excavates the soil out from under the floor joists so that you have at least 28 inches of distance between the two. And then you can get in there and install a vapor barrier and remove the mold off the joist. That 28 inches seems to be enough space that you can get your equipment around and not feel too claustrophobic. The only other way to do it, because he was saying that there's some concrete slabs that, you know, may prevent people from being able to excavate. So the only other thing you can do is work from above. So you take the floor up, and then you deal with the mold on the back side of the flooring, and you remove the mold on the floor joists, and then you put down the vapor barrier. And now, one of the things I mentioned to people is that after you remove the mold, you really need to dry the wood out before you do any kind of reconstruction. You need to put some fans on there, and you need to use negative air machines. When you have the presence of mold, you only use negative air equipment and snail fans. The fans cause the evaporation to dry out, and then the negative air machines will pull the moist air out of the room. It's the only way you control it. You can't use a dehumidifier in the presence of mold. You can't do that. My point is that there are only two ways to deal with a crawl space that's not that where you have mold, where you need a vapor barrier, and you need to do some remediation and fix the issue. One of the primary things I tell people is that after you do all of this work, you're going to have to figure out how to prevent the humidity from becoming elevated again. Whether you inject air and withdraw it or you put it under mild negative air pressure, you're still going to have to consider how you're going to keep that crawl space dry. And if you don't do that, then it's all for naught because it's all going to grow back. Now, I normally apply an antimicrobial after we're finished anyway. It's better than nothing, but I don't put a lot of faith in those kind of products. Interesting project. It's one of the most difficult things you can do in a house is deal with a crawl space in that kind of condition.